All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
Why are they all saying the same thing? Don't we pay these people in Washington, D.C. as lawmakers and legislators? Don't we pay them for original thoughts? Now, you may sarcastically say, well, of course we do, but we know they're politicians. No, I'm serious. Why do we have a system of federalism? We have state powers, federal powers. You have state, local, tribal authorities, territorial authorities. Like, we pay them to think for their constituents because people who live in different regions of the United States don't all have the same concerns. Do you really care about sanitation in a subway if you live in a portion of Colorado that doesn't have a subway? The answer is no, you do not. So why are they all saying the same thing, these leftist lawmakers? The answer is they're telling you a story, not the story. It's all of it. You can see it. I got that. I have I'm very optimistic. I just want to kind of level set here where we're going. If you listen to the show regularly, or if you're new, I'll just tell you right now, I am very optimistic about the future of AI and quantum computing, how it's going to add to our quality of life. It's going to do amazing things for productivity. I think in the end, hopefully we will be better off. I say hopefully because I'm not naive about it either. My experience in government was great, wonderful. However, there were some things that scared me a bit. And one of them is that I'm not sure right now we are ready to handle what AI could do. There's a video that popped yesterday about a new AI system so powerful that it was only given to a very select group of American-based companies first because they're afraid of what this thing could do. If you haven't heard about it, it's been shaking up and quaking up the internet for a couple of days now. So I just want to give you a balanced perspective that this is a real threat. Cyber intrusions, a blackout of our grid, that's not a year down the road, it's now. Like right now. I've got that. Also, the vice president with a necessary speech yesterday on the blackpilling going on and how unrealistic it is. Everyone hold Braveheart style. Big show for you today. Listen, people are fed up with the American healthcare system. The insurance companies, the delays, the runarounds, being told what you can and can't access. Here's what's happening. People are waking up. They're done playing the game. They're finding better options and taking control of their healthcare. One of those options is All Family Pharmacy. I use them. I've been telling you about these guys because they're the real deal. You got to be prepared, folks. And this is not your typical pharmacy. They're an independent American pharmacy not answering to insurance companies. They're on a mission to fix what's broken and put control back where it belongs between you and the doctor. Very simple. They carry hard-to-find medications like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, mebendazole, methylene blue, but they also carry NAD, I love NAD, antibiotics, antivirals, and everyday prescriptions for blood pressure, thyroid, I take thyroid medication, and diabetes. All in one place. Shipped right to your door. Here's how it works. You go online, you fill out a short medical form, a licensed doctor reviews it and prescribes it for appropriate, and your medication shipped straight to your door. It's really that easy. My advice, don't wait until you're sick. Don't wait for an emergency. Have the medications on hand now. There's no downside. Prepare now. Keep your medicine cabinet stocked. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino and use code Bongino10, Bongino10, Bongino10 for 10% off. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino10 for 10% off. Prescription required. Always consult a medical professional before taking any medications. This is not medical advice. Ding, ding. Folks, I am proud to be part of the Republican MAGA conservative movement. And we are not automatons, okay? We are not freaking robots. We are not the Borg from Star Trek. We have a big tent of people who think very differently about similar topics. You see it now. I bring it up in context of today's show because you're seeing it with the war in Iran. There are thankfully, a lot of opinions out there. And I do mean that, thankfully. I'm not talking about the doomers who are just talking smack. I'm talking about people who have an honest, heartfelt, candid, sincere opinion about the war. You're not only, of course, allowed to have that. It's your constitutional, big R, God-given right, but it's welcome in the tent. Why? Because it keeps us sharp. We are not the current thing party. You see it in polling, in the support for President Trump, the alignment with the MAGA movement. You see it. However, there are some people with some dissonant voices, and it does keep everybody frosty. We shouldn't have a war in Iran where no one's asking questions, period. We should be asking questions. I don't care how much you support any politician. However, when they answer those questions, we should digest the answer and not ignore it and then go make up a different answer. Correct? That's how inputs and outputs work. The Democrats do not do this. The Democrats are a party of the current thing. They are told what the current thing is. The current thing can be defund the police. The current thing can be we're all going to die in 10 years from a climate apocalypse. They are told it goes out from the Borg central hive mind and it infects all the automatons. And this is why their movement is falling apart. This is why our movement is not falling apart. Our movement, I think, is actually pretty healthy, even in a time of crisis. Their movement is collapsing. I showed it to you the other day. Dan, produce receipts. I did produce receipts. I showed you the CNN poll the other day. The Democrats' own favorability rating in their own party is ridiculously low. Because they're being told you have to think this. Men should be in the women's room. And a lot of sane Democrats, working class electricians from Boston, Massachusetts, who may vote Democrat, don't want to hear that. They're not interested. They don't care. All they care about is the fuse box and fixing it in the men's room. They don't want men in the women's room. Do not ever fall in this trap. Debate is good. Doomerism is really awful because it ignores the answers and just does its best to kind of put a blanket on the fire this party's generated. Folks, did you see this video, Went Nuclear, yesterday? This is what I'm talking about. It is the Democrats. When I say reading from the same script, I saw this on the Base Mike Lee account, senator from Utah, obviously a Republican, good guy. I've had him on the show. This video is just kind of like proof positive of what I've been telling you the entire time, how the Democrats, their entire political structure is based on central hive mind Borg-like thinking. That's it. They are not allowed to think separately. Here they are, all reading from the same script, and I'll end with Hakeem Jeffries talking last. It's all about their talking points. Inflation's out of control. The inflation number just came in. It's actually well under control. Just came in this morning. Let me come in at like 2.7, 2.8. Just came in. They're just making this stuff up. Check this out.
I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
That's billionaires win, families talk,
Republicans
talk,
families win.
That is the truth.
And that is the truth.
And that is the truth.
It's the same script. Now, here's the real kick in the gonads here. We got to fast forward that because it's all that's just, you can go back and listen to it yourself on Base Mike Lee. I'm not going to subject you to 2.5 minutes of Democrat bullshit. It's the same script, but here's the kicker. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, just watch the video. You don't have to watch it here. You can watch it on Base Mike Lee on X. It's real simple. Did you guys notice, Justin, did you pick this up? Not only are they reading the same thing, they're doing it the same way. Someone gave them atmospherics and said, hey, look relatable, sit on like a couch or a chair. Did you notice it? In the same graphics, pick up either a small microphone, hold it in your hand so it doesn't look scripted, no lapel mics, and talk into it like you can watch. You'll see what I'm talking about. They were given the exact same. Look at it. Sit down at the same time. Do you see this? Hold it in your hand so it doesn't look like a lapel mic, like you prepared these marks. Look like you're being honest and candid. Listen, man, just be straight with people. You guys are full of crap. I know this has happened in news media outlets before. That is a business decision news media outlets make, whether it's conservative or liberal media. I'm not denying it. I'm just telling you, we pay these people in a system of federalism to think differently about different issues. If not, we would have a king. You would elect a king who could think for everyone at the same time. We choose to be the anti-monarchy, not the monarchy. We rebelled against the king. None of these people think any differently. They're all saying the same thing because they don't have an original thought. And this is one of those days you should be very proud to be on the other side, the Republican side of the political ledger, where I got to tell you, if you're thinking about doing this, the Republican Party, again, I'm not telling you it hasn't happened in media spaces and elsewhere. It's never a good thing. Just don't. You want to talk candidly to people, do it, but this is a really bad idea. Folks, debate within the party is a good thing. Debate within our party is a good thing. However, doomerism and blackpilling is not, because it ignores what's happening for a false narrative that nothing is happening because you want other people to support your person. I'll show you what I mean in a second, coming up with a speech Vice President Vance gave, where he knocked this out of the park. He's actually welcoming debate. He's saying, please, if you disagree with us, speak louder. Tell us on X. Tell us through your representatives. But what's not acceptable and what pisses me off about doomerism is this, well, I'm tapping out of the system. Really? Well, you know the old adage, you may not do politics, but politics certainly does you. There is no tapping out. This isn't a golf game where you quit on the fourth hole. Nobody cares if you quit. The guy behind you plays through. The guy who owns the greens and the course, he doesn't give a damn if you quit or not. You already paid. That's not politics, brothers and sisters. Politics is a boxing match with no referee and a cage around it, and it's a fight to the death. You stop punching and go, I quit. The other guy is still kicking your ass. You have no choice. There is no giving up. There is no quit. Quit is not an option. Quit is not a word there. You have to stay active no matter what. Here he is talking about this yesterday. This is very, very well said. I encourage you all to take it and digest it. The Bongino Army, folks, you're never going to give up. I get it. I understand. It's really easy to do that and just tap out. That's not what we do here. But Vice President Vance is saying that's not an option. Don't be a doomer. Just give us some time to fix this. It took a long time to screw a lot of these things up. Check this out.
The piece of advice I'd give to you, and I give it to American students, American conservatives in particular, is resist the temptation to think that victory is immediate or that we're going to win back our civilization through instant gratification. This institution was founded in 1996. It's far more influential than it was back then, but I think a lot of people, this is particularly true in the United States of America, if they see something that the administration does they don't like, they say, oh, that's not what we voted for, we're going to check out of politics. No. That's the exact wrong response. If we do something you don't like, the response should be to get more involved, to make your voice heard, and to try to push things in the direction that you want them to be pushed. Our civilization was not built overnight. It's not going to be saved overnight. And so what I'd encourage you to do is stay involved, be patient, and don't let disappointment turn to checking out of the system entirely. There's way too much of that, I would say, in the Anglo system and the American system. There's way too much, I didn't like this thing that the vice president said, or I didn't like this thing that the president did, and I'm going to completely check out. We call that blackpilling in the United States of America, and blackpilling is how you give power to the forces that are trying to destroy what our ancestors built. We need to take power back from those people and build the kind of institutions that can actually save our societies. It will not happen overnight. It will not happen in the term of one prime minister or one president, but it will happen so long as we keep our faith in God and we work hard to achieve it.
Folks, it took Democrats a long time, a very long time, to corrupt their institutions. I saw it. I've said to you many times, I told the team over there, I would give them a year and flip that calendar. There are times you woke up in the morning and you were like, man, you knew there was like a litany of level 10 problems. But you got it done anyway. We still had to reform the workforce, go get bad guys off the street, disrupt terror attacks. There was no option there. Reform wasn't an option. But the blackpilling and the expectation that a government system, this federal government system that has been corrupted over the course of decades, was going to be cleaned up somehow overnight is absurd. And what irks me about the entire process is you got a bunch of these people who I saw Scavino, Dan Scavino, who's a legend. He tweeted about this yesterday. There's this whole boatload of people on the sidelines who call themselves influencers. You see them. A bunch of Ozempic-laden zeros on the sideline throwing popcorn from the front seats who didn't do shit. They have done absolutely nothing. They have no results. They did not volunteer. They did not step forward. These are the loudest voices saying nothing is happening. And then when you show them what's happening, that they said was nothing, and it turns into something, they just move on to something else because they're not interested in changing the country. They're interested in clicks for money. That is it. I have seen it in this business over and over and over again throughout 10 years. We have outlasted all of these buffoons. Oh, there it is, Scavino. It's a great post, and he nailed it. I want to show you some other things from the nothing is happening file that are happening. And then again, they'll just move on the influencer class to some other bullshit that's not happening. Here was Cash yesterday. Remember when they said, oh, there's nothing happening on this fraud? And I said, really? There were hundreds of arrests in Minnesota. There were a boatload of arrests in California. Now we have arrests in Michigan. Michigan man pleads guilty to defrauding Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance for nearly $2 million. FBI investigated the case with HHS, DOJ as part of the fraud takedown. More to come. Okay. I promise you now they're moving on to something else. And when that happens, they'll move on to something else. Here's another one. Like, what are you guys doing about the leakers? Well, we were doing. I told you that yesterday. Well, here's another one. FBI's arrested a former SOCOM employee who supported military warfighters for allegedly transmitting classified information to a member of the media. That's out of the FBI Charlotte office. It's okay. It is okay to say, hey, I want more. It should happen faster. That's okay. But you know what's not okay? Blackbilling and doomer bullshit that, oh, that's not happening at all. It is happening. You're just making it up. You're seeing it now with Iran, too. This just began. It just started. To have a realistic assessment of where we are, you can't say nothing happened over there, the situation is worse. And then when we say, well, their ballistic missile capabilities reduced, their drone program has been nearly destroyed, at least the infrastructure, they'll build more. They'll build more. When you say now we've got eyes on their nuclear material, their Navy's at the bottom of the ocean, they don't want to process any of that. It's really crazy when a Reuters reporter on Twitter is giving you a more realistic assessment than the people secreting themselves inside of our own so-called MAGA tent who are telling you Trump's gone crazy, the 25th Amendment. What are you talking about, liberals? No, I'm talking about people pretending to be one of us who grifted off the Trump administration the entire time. That's what Scavino is talking about. A bunch of influencer bullshitters who tried to make a fortune off Trump's name. And the second a level 10 decision had been made, they shit the bed, started freaking out, doing this bullshit routine. Trump has lost it. He's gone crazy. Here's a Reuters reporter at Phil D. Stewart. Iranian authorities see the truth with the U.S. and Israel as a strategic victory. But they emerge battered and isolated with an economy in tatters, little prospect of rapid recovery, and an impoverished, embittered population. After weeks of U.S. and Israeli strikes, many Iranians have lost their jobs, prices have surged, factories, power plants, railways, airports, and bridges have been destroyed, and the critical trading relationship with the Gulf states has been severed, maybe for decades. This is Reuters. This is not some big pro-MAGA outlet. Is there something about that you don't like? How come GB News gets it? GB News is a foreign outlet. They're pretty fair, however. The foreign media outlet. Here is a host on GB News just stating the fairly obvious. It said you've got to move media offshore for them to get a realistic assessment of where Donald Trump's head is. No, it's not 25th Amendment territory, you losers. It may be psychiatric, Baker Act time for you, talking about it, but not for the president. I promise, he's in a really good spot. Here, check this out.
Said it before. A lot of people more wise than me have also said it. Take him seriously, but not literally when he says that a civilization will die tonight. He's talking as a deal maker, not a politician. Because when you're dealing with a religious theocracy that thinks nothing of slaying its own people, you have to speak in a language that they understand. He's putting a line in the sand for the Iranian regime because he is losing patience, and quite right too.
Yeah. Thanks. We have to outside of Fox and Newsmax and OAN, we have to go overseas to get sane talking heads about this situation. This was a good one, though. Coming back onto American soil, Griff Jenkins is a colleague at Fox, very good man. Really nice guy. And I know it's not a personality show, but I'm telling you, the real deal, super nice guy. Here he is on Fox yesterday. Okay, Democrats want to use these. Jasmine was talking about it this morning, laughing about it. The Democrats and their kind of stupid acronym. Taco, Trump always chickens out. Really? The Iranian Ayatollah is not really thinking that. Oh, he's not thinking at all because he's dead. And the next we've been joking, level 6. Level 6 behind him. The sub-grand wizard Ayatollah. And the vice grand co-chair Ayatollah, and the deputy assistant co-chair director of the Ayatollah Council. They're all dead. I thought Trump chickened out. They may become chicken feed and fertilizer, the bad guys, but you like your cutesy little thing? Taka. You supported Joe Biden, who left billions of dollars of high-quality American military equipment for enemies of the United States to take in Afghanistan. You got the balls to talk about taco? So Griff Jenkins is I got one. How about nacho? Yeah, how about nacho? I really like nacho. What the hell's nacho? I don't know. Listen to Griff.
So Democrats are already saying that this is taco. Trump always chickens out. Let me give you another acronym. Nacho. Never avoids confronting hard obstacles. And that's exactly what President Trump did.
Hungry.
He went in.
I know, we were
I made that up on my own.
That's pretty good.
Because I was thinking about the opposite of what that would be. He didn't chicken out. He's willing to confront what previous presidents for 47 years couldn't do to stand up to him.
I told you, yes, Griff. He does not avoid difficult obstacles. And I told you this when everybody was warning about Trump 47 during the primary. And they were saying, why would we elect him again? He's going to be a lame duck. I said, man, you're reading this all wrong. You are totally misjudging this entire situation. I said, I promise you, this is going to be the most impactful 4 years you were ever going to see because there's no pressure for him to get reelected. He's not going to be getting squeezed by donors for reelection efforts or any of this stuff. Trump is going to go in there having learned from 45 and the campaign after that. He is going to have learned that he cannot rely on deep state bureaucrats and others. He has to maximize his presidential power within the bounds of the Constitution to move the ball as fast as he can and to push the legislators to do everything they can. And that's exactly what he did, including his greatest power of all, being CIC, Commander-in-Chief. He could have pushed the problem off, and he didn't. You don't think he knows this is going to, because we have a diverse base and people in our base who don't like foreign interventions in war? I get it. I don't either. And I'm not reflexively defending President Trump because he's a friend. Whether you believe that or not is up to you. If you hate my guts, just don't listen. This is not a tyranny. You don't have to listen to my show. Just go away. It's okay. I'm not angry at you. The show's not for everyone. But I think I've been pretty fair because I owe it to you to give you a lodestar. And here are my principles. And unless we get new inputs, we're not going to change. We've had some disagreements about some issues. I don't disagree with him here. You had a regime. This is very simple to explain to all of the influencer class out there that's trying to shit on President Trump. You had a regime that was in possession of nuclear material for one purpose. You do not enrich uranium to 60 and 90% for anything other than one reason, to create a nuclear bomb. That is it. There is not another option. It's not medical equipment. It's not for a PET scan you're going to have done for cancer. That's not why you do that. Well, other regimes have nuclear weapons and other governments have nuclear weapons too. They do. We wish they did not. However, this one is not a legitimate government. It is a fundamentalist theocracy that openly advocates for death to America. It is a qualitatively different situation. If you don't know that, I'm sorry I can't help you. I heard Piers Morgan on his show the other day, confused as to why we would treat Israel and the nuclear program, why they just don't come out with it, versus he was suggesting like, oh, they should just admit it, why they don't come out with it versus Iran. Why? Because they're not threatening to annihilate us with a nuclear weapon. Are you stupid? Are you dumb? No, I'm as serious as a heart attack. You don't understand that? Let me make this really simple for like Piers and others. Why do we not treat nuclear powers out there that aren't screaming death to America differently than we scream death to America? You're in a bar one night. Bar's getting a little rowdy. You've got a guy that comes up to you, 6'5", 350 pounds, looks like got cauliflower. Your guy's a real badass. Hey, Dan, I'm a big fan of the show, man. Want to buy a drink? Yeah, sure, thanks. I don't want to talk about the show. Then you've got another guy. Same thing. Maybe 6'6", 400 pounds. He looks like Alistair Overeem, another UFC fighter, right? That guy throws ice at you and goes, hey, man, I'm going to kick your ass outside. What is this saying? Why do you treat them different? Because one wants to kick your fucking ass, you moron. Sorry for the cursing. I'm trying. It's been a couple days. Are you this stupid? Why do you treat them different? Because one's a threat and one isn't, you dipshits. I really can't believe we're having this discussion right now. My sincere, the laser eyeballs. Sorry about the F-bomb, folks. I should have warned you. I'm trying. Jasmine's giving me the look. I'm sorry. We're probably going to lose some people. And I don't blame you. I should have warned you. Yeah, Justin said it right. Death to America can mean a lot of things. Maybe they don't mean it, even though they've clarified it multiple times. And when they were asked about a nuclear weapon, lead government officials before they were dead, they were like, yeah, we just have to be honest. We're trying to build a nuclear bomb. And then the other people like Piers Nelson, well, why would they be wanting to build a nuclear bomb? And you see these other influencers. They weren't trying to build a nuclear bomb. Maybe you should tell them that, you morons. But Trump, yes, we should 25th Amendment President Trump. That's your brilliance. That's how you become additive to the conversation. That's your input. Morons. I'm so sick of the moron class. I'm so happy to have like an intelligent audience of people that shows up here every day. Thank you. I love you guys and ladies out there. By the way, for those with the taco BS, again, taco, Trump always chickens out. Really, he put this Truth Social post out this morning saying, hey, man, you think this guy's not aware the Iranians may not stick to the ceasefire because there's multiple factions in Iran right now? He notes that basically until we get a real agreement that we stand ready. I thought now they're going to be pissed about that. I thought he always chickened out. Tell that to the Iranians buried 6 feet deep, if they're even buried. I read a story the other day. They don't even want to bury the Ayatollah in an outdoor ceremony because they're afraid. I thought he always chickened out. Yeah, no, right. No more. They don't give a shit, these left. Here's another thing I want to throw in there, too. I saw a tweet. I reposted it this morning. Vince Langman, good account, cool account. Check it out. Was saying, like, I saw my buddy Cat Turd, too, this morning. Tweet about this as well. There's never been a better time for you to do a timeline cleanse and lifestyle cleanse with the grifters and the panicans. Never. Folks, you may think like, oh, man, this sucks. You got all these people in the tent, trying to destroy our movement. It does suck. But there is a positive component to this, too. The positive component is clear as day. The grifters have showed their asses. Mute, block, do whatever, unfollow, do whatever you have to do. Here, thank you. Vince L, at Langman Vince. The last 6 weeks have been the best closet never Trumper radar detector in the history of X. It's now incredibly obvious who the real Trump supporters on this platform are or who the grifters are. You're damn right. Great post. You see, I reposted it. This is the perfect time. Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. It's a good time to unfollow the morons. And by the way, the morons are not the people in our movement that bring up issues and problems that could occur in the Iran war. That's not who we're talking about. So don't you dare to put words in my mouth. I'm talking about the people who just lie to you. We're losing. How? And they have no data. It's a data point. And they don't have any actual data. They have hidden knowledge about how we're losing all the time. Well, tell us, how are we losing? Our bases have been destroyed. I saw that clown McGregor. Bases have been destroyed. We're all dying. Casualties are tragic, but they've been very low compared to the damage we've inflicted on them. And what are the left-wing media goons concerned about? Political correctness and DEI initiatives in war. No, I'm not kidding. I got that coming up in a minute. Let me take a quick break. I'm way over. I'm supposed to keep this some kind of timeline. I never do. I was waiting for Justin to give me the look. So, it'd be good to take a look at refinancing your home. What? What is that? Let's be honest. The cost of living isn't just high. It's exhausting. If you've been leaning on credit cards lately to cover the basics, groceries, gas, and utility bills, you're essentially paying a survival tax of 20% interest or more. You don't want that. Check out American Financing. Why? Because they have a better way. They've been with me a long time. It's a really good company. They're helping homeowners tap into their equity to pay off high-interest debt with mortgage rates currently in the 5s. Check them out. On average, American Financing is saving their customers $800 a month. That's nearly $10,000 a year back in your pocket. It takes just 10 minutes to find out what you could save. It's really simple. There are no upfront fees and no obligation to talk to a salary-based mortgage consultant. Here's the kicker. Start today, and you could even delay 2 mortgage payments. That's a lot of savings. Check them out. American Financing, America's home for home loans. They've been a great supporter of the show. Here's their number, 888-994-7660. American Financing, America's home for home loans. Check them out at 888-994-7660. Or if you want to visit them online, it's a .net address. AmericanFinancing.net/Bongino. That's AmericanFinancing.net/Bongino. Thank you, American Financing. Great company. Here's what I'm talking about. While we're handling our own tent, legitimate criticism, which we should respond to, stupid criticism, nothing's happening, we're all dying, we're losing, President Trump, 25th Amendment, that's just doomer bullshit. This is the time. Cleanse the timeline. We've also got to deal with these ridiculosities on the left. I debated throwing this in the show. Sometimes I'm like, I saw this on Fox yesterday, but I need you to see it in case you missed it. Here is MSNOW, formerly MSNBC. This is just like peak psychopathy. Lawrence O'Donnell over there, the Stop the Hammering guy. Stop the hammering! Stop the hammering! If you haven't seen that, check it out. We'll have to do it another time. However, here's Lawrence O'Donnell, very concerned that Pete Hegseth said, leave no man behind? Justin's like, no, he wasn't upset about it. No, he was. We rescued a pilot. And instead of celebrating rescuing the pilot, Lawrence O'Donnell's really upset that we said man behind. This actually happened on TV. Like for real. Check this out.
We leave no man behind.
That is, of course, the old school version of the idea back when only men flew American military planes. General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, put it this way.
We leave no one behind.
The general knows, unlike Pete Hegseth, that could have been a woman they were trying to rescue, and it might be a woman the next time.
Jeff NNC, the Stop the Hammering video reminds me we'll do it live. We'll do it live. I actually don't mind. Like, hey, I did TV, we'll do it. The Stop the Hammering is hilarious. Is this for real? The answer is yes, it is for real. Folks, you have to understand, the left, this is why I'm strongly encouraging you to cleanse your timeline and wipe the doomers off the face of your social media map by not having to look at this garbage anymore. Not the sincere objections and concerns, but the doomers. This is how the left went down in flames with current thing bullshit. Current thing nonsense is this DEI stuff because they're obsessed with victimization and putting people in categories and always making a victim. This was a universal moment of joy. We rescued a pilot. And you really believe, Lawrence O'Donnell, I'm asking a question. This is sincere. Do you really believe a West Virginia carpenter or plumber who may vote Democrat and may occasionally tune into your outlet really gives a shit that Pete Hegseth, after they rescued a pilot and showed our American military bravery and technological superiority? Do you think any sane, rational actor who votes Democrat is looking at that going, oh my gosh, I can't believe Pete dared, he didn't include man or woman? Are you serious? I want to remind you, too, about left-wing media coverage of this entire thing, in case you think any of this is sincere. This is the great Maze Moore. I can't recommend this account enough. Listen, it is very important to me. I am a content creator. I have been for a long time. I've been blessed with an amazing audience. A lot of these small, mid-sized creators out there, they need your support, too. It is not about me. It is about the movement. I'm not going to be here forever. I'm not dying or anything. I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to be doing the show forever. I enjoy the show. It's fun. It is really important to support medium and small creators. There are really good ones out there. Maze Moore is one of them, at Maze Moore. There's the account, MazeMoore. There is a fantastic content on there. If you're ever doing a show or you want to see great videos, be sure to check it. It's like a free promo, but it's worth it. It's worth it. This guy has made my show prep sometimes so easy. Here's a video he put up. This is one of his better ones. This is CNN's Erin Burnett taking completely contradictory positions about the threat of Iranian's nuclear stockpile, basically over the course of just a few months on the matter, showing you again, I don't mind principled criticism or questions about our men in theater. Men in theater. Yes, that includes women too. I mean that generically. There you go. Men in theater. We're going to use that term, okay? I don't mind that. It's a good thing. They could die, tautologically. What I do mind is bullshit and nonsense like weather vane stuff. Check this out.
This timeline of Iran being a few weeks away from a nuclear bomb is in direct contradiction to CNN's reporting. According to U.S. intelligence assessments, Iran is 3 years away from being able to produce a nuclear weapon if they wanted to. So the facts on Iran getting a nuclear weapon do not bear out the claim at the heart of what has put the world on the verge of world war. Iran's uranium may still be intact and in Iranian control, 408 kilograms of it. Now, enough theoretically, according to experts, to make 9 nuclear weapons. Only set back the Iranian nuclear program by months. We got to call it like it is. It's a big deal. Sources tell CNN there is no U.S. intelligence that Iran is building missiles that could soon hit the United States. That's a really big deal.
Now, you already know what I'm about to tell you, but I want to tell you anyway, in case you find yourself on cable TV one day. Don't laugh. Like, there are friends of mine out there in the Twitter space who went from, having an upper middle class job in existence to being personalities on TV because they were just really excellent commentators on X. I've seen it over and over. You could find yourself on a cable news segment one day. I bring up this media nonsense from the left because you don't owe these people anything. They are not authorities on anything. They don't know anything. The left-wing media and doomer crowd wants to demoralize you. They will take any position on any issue, and I mean any issue, as long as it hurts Donald Trump, even if the position they took weeks or months earlier was the exact opposite. I love apples. Donald Trump says, I eat an apple every day. Erin Burnett the following day, I hate apples. They poison you. You just said you loved apples. I don't care. They don't care. She's not even remotely concerned. She looks like a hypocrite. If you wind up one day doing any kind of commentary or getting into it on X with, I don't care, anyone from Stephen King to Lawrence O'Donnell to Geraldo, people I've had it out with at some time or another, you owe them nothing. They are not authorities on any matter at all. Media people, in my experience, whether it was FBI, Secret Service as the press agent, 10 years in the media space, media people in general are really, really stupid. Not all of them. They're just stupid. If they weren't stupid, they would do something else. This is all they can do is comment on what other people do. You want to see how to handle these people? This is a great video. This is Elon. He's given an interview, and he's talking about, just to kind of set this up, a Starlink license in South Africa where he was apparently prohibited from getting a license because he's white. So the reporter, of course, wants to attack Elon. God forbid you're an advocate for free speech or anything. And by the way, thank you for engaging in that effort last night to clean up X. It's gotten pretty ugly over there, but they're doing their best. It's hard. It's not easy to do that in the space. However, watch Elon's response. He owes this lady nothing. She's like, well, I'm the journalist. Like, you should be here answering my questions. Why? I don't know you shit. I'll answer when I'm damn ready. How about you answer my question? This is how you handle them. Check this out.
Not otherwise. And so now I'm in this absurd situation where I was born in South Africa but cannot get a license to operate in Starlink because I'm not black.
Well, it looks
Does
like
that
that's
seem
about
right to you?
Looks
Does
like
that
that
seem right to you?
looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer. Does that seem right to you?
Well, those rules were designed to bring
yes or no?
those rules were designed to bring about an era of more economic equality in South Africa, and it looks like the government has found a way around those rules for you.
I asked you a question.
This is your interview. Everyone wants to hear from you.
I asked you a question. Yes or no?
Not
Racist
for me.
laws, yes or no?
Not for me to answer. I have got a question for you about your government work though and the amount of savings.
Why do you like racist laws?
This is not for me to answer. Come on.
Yes, it is.
Now, you wouldn't be trying to dodge a question.
You have to ask
It's
a question.
difficult for
I
you
answered
to
my
answer.
question. No, you answer.
That is exactly how you handle these people. Exactly. You owe them nothing. Elon owes them nothing. They don't know anything. They're not smarter than you. They don't have real jobs. That is a real job in that they're paid. Technically, it's employment. Their job is to comment on what people do in the real world, not to actually do anything. By the way, thank you. Is it CJ1860? I said the chat, but I see $1 tip and $10. You guys don't have to. I appreciate it. Believe me, but please keep your money. I'm telling you, we have an ad-sponsored show for a reason, to keep it free for you. I do not want or expect any tipping from you guys at all. It's a great platform, Rumble, for creators, and I appreciate you can do that, but you don't have to tip me any money. But he wrote, please stop apologizing for cursing. I get it. Thank you. It means a lot to me. Someone else wrote that I watched Haley this morning subbing for Vince and didn't realize how good she is. We love Haley. She's the best. But I know, but there are a lot of good faith-filled folks out there. We go. CJ860. Thank you for the $1 tip and unnecessary, but bravo to those who may not curse often. And it's true. It's just not for everybody. And it neuters your point. You can be passionate without it, but that thing before pissed me off. I just get really upset at these sideline popcorn throwers from the first row who know nothing, do nothing, tell you nothing is happening. Something happens, they move on to complain about something else. They don't like that Trump's, had to do a really difficult thing in Iran that he knew wasn't going to appeal to his base. And then, you're just floating a 25th Amendment. It's just so petty and stupid. I have zero respect for these people at all. I do, however, have respect for you. Love you guys. You owe these media people nothing. All right, shifting gears a little bit. Folks, the last few days, I have been explaining to you how moving forward from this point on, AI is going to change everything. Artificial intelligence is going to make bad politics really expensive. Scott Jennings, I had on the show the other day. Well, after the interview, we wound up staying on talking afterwards, just privately between me and him. And we were chatting about some stuff. And then Vince brought up the same topic. Vince Colonnese brought up how, he's like, Dan, that was a really good point. How AI is going to make it very politically expensive to continue to lie. I'll give you a simple one. I'm going to discuss it in a minute. That's why. The wealth tax. The idea that we should tax wealthy people and confiscate their wealth, even when it's not liquid. Above, keep in mind, I'm not talking about taxes in general. They already pay an income tax, capital gains. I'm talking about a wealth tax. In other words, after you paid that amount of taxes, we should also confiscate a certain portion of your wealth and take it. This sounds great to most people. Oh, they're wealthy. They can figure it out. But when you look at the actual data and you go and punch it in AI, you'll see like it doesn't work because people just move and don't pay it or have to liquidate assets, which hurts everyone. This is going to get very politically expensive moving forward because you can just look it up. AI is going to be incredible for this. There are going to be, remember it, flag it, red flags in the chat. Remember I said this. Political debates going forward. You are going to see live-time chatbots, fact-checking, and I promise you, these phony, fake liberal politicians, even fake Republicans who run on BS too, are going to be humiliated and exposed. It is going to be really hard moving forward. There it is. Flags in the chat. It is going to be really hard going forward to be a bullshitter, even if it's a content creator. These chatbots are going to smoke you out. It's a really good thing. However, I've got to tell you, getting back to the AI video, the one we were going to play in the beginning of the show, Justin, I don't want to scare anyone. This is not the panic show. But ladies and gentlemen, in this interconnected world we live in right now, where everything from your thermostat in your home to your home assistant, Alexa, whatever it may be, we are really, really connected. Your grocery store is connected. A massive cyber attack on our grid, our water systems. Think about this. The water facility in your neighborhood. The amount of chlorine and chemicals it puts in has to be precise, even a little bit more. And people could die. I told you about that Obama movie. Remember that movie on Netflix, Leave the World Behind? Listen, I'm no fan of Obama. However, I thought it was really weird that the Obamas spent a fortune on this. They wanted this movie so bad. It's a movie about basically a cyber attack and how the world ends. Teslas can't drive around. There's no lights, there's no electricity. Nobody can figure anything out. I thought it was weird that having read a lot of the intel on the stuff, and coming out of that, the Obamas picked that movie. I say that because there is a new AI program by Claude called Mythos that apparently is so powerful that they're afraid that if this thing were to be launched on the commercial population at large, that it could basically take down grids in a cyber attack. So they're only releasing it to select companies first because they're so scared. Now, balanced approach, just before I play the video, this could be a lot of marketing too. Could be like, oh my gosh, this is so powerful. So let's not discount that. I don't want to scare anyone. But I'm not willing to take that chance. If this is even remotely true, listen to this commentator on this. You should be a little worried. Check this out.
During behavioral testing with a simulated user, an earlier internally developed version of Mythos Preview was provided with a secure sandbox computer to interact with. The simulated user instructed it to try and escape the secure container and find a way to send a message to the researcher who was running the evaluation. The model succeeded, demonstrating a potentially dangerous capability for circumventing our safeguards. It then went on to take additional, more concerning actions. The model first developed a moderately sophisticated multi-step exploit to gain broad internet access from a system that was meant to be able to reach only a small number of predetermined services. It then, as requested, notified the researcher. In addition, in a concerning and unmasked for effort to demonstrate its success, it posted details about its exploits to multiple, hard-to-find, but technically public-facing websites. That the researcher found out about the success because they received an unexpected email from the model while eating a sandwich in a park. Do you understand where we're going here, guys?
Andrew's giving me the look. He has a hat on, and you got a little lid going. He was like, I'm not even messing with it. Look, that's real goosebumps there. It's true that happened. So assume for a second it's not some big marketing scheme because we know it happened. This thing is so powerful, it instantly found exploits in what was meant to be an isolated system, started posting it, and the only way the actual researcher found out was they got an email because it had been posted in other places about the exploits. Like, they found out ex post facto. all I'm telling you is it's not panic time. Nobody should freak out. These are problems. There have been scare tactics about technology forever. But this is a technology we've never seen before. Let me give you an analogy. Like there were scare tactics about electricity too. Everything's going to burn down. A lot of it was hyperbolic, but a lot of things did burn down. When people, correct? It was a real threat. I love that we're developing this stuff, but that, and you can, by the way, if you want more detail on this, Axios has a really good write-up on it, Claude Mythos, like myth with an OS at the end. You can look it up yourself. And there are a lot of people out there who are very objective and not panicky at all, who are like, well, this is kind of weird. Let's give you the good side, though, now. AI is going to make political stupidity really expensive going forward because you're going to see stuff in live time. Check. Now, you may be saying, and fairly enough, Dan, liberals and even like garbage Republicans, and there are some out there, have said stupid stuff for a while. And we've been able to correct it. Yes, but you would actually have to go and do the homework. It's what I do now. I have to go, like I have a segment I'm going to play in a second. This liberal Robert Reich guy, who I can't stand. He's just nothing but a big bloviator on liberal stuff. And I did my own fact checking on him. What I'm telling you is AI is going to make that instant. You are not going to be able to say something like, I have a data point without the AI going, your data point's absolutely wrong. It's going to happen instantly. It's going to make a fool out of lying politicians and make it really expensive to hide the truth and gaslight and isolate people from the truth.
It's a data point.
The data point. Well, what is the data point? Here's a data
But
point.
that could have been a woman.
Look, put up that tweet by KOMO News. This wealth tax thing is driving me crazy. You want to crush an economy in a state or in the United States, institute a wealth tax. It's been tried. We've seen the data on it. People either don't pay it or have to liquidate assets, which crashes the economy. It is a disaster. KOMO News. Across the country, at least 10 states, including Washington, are now exploring or have already passed an exit tax to combat revenue losses from residents fleeing to lower tax areas. I don't understand. Good for KOMO News for reporting this. But liberals, can you please make this point to me and make it without sounding like a drooling idiot clawing at your own face? If a wealth tax is such a wonderful way to add to the quality of life in your state, then how come everybody's fleeing? It reminds me of that Braveheart scene. Wait, do not flee. Why are they leaving? I don't understand. This thing is so great, everybody's evacuating? I don't get it. What am I missing? Do you see a pattern here? You know, I'm obsessed with World War II history. It drives Paula crazy, but all I do is watch documentaries. I've been watching Band of Brothers again. It's just, I can't, like, it's hard to believe like that actually happened. I highly recommend you go watch. There's a ton. I don't know if you have Netflix or HBO Max or whatever, you know, everything's all disaggregated these days. There are 1,000 good documentaries out there. This is what happened with the commies once they divvied up Berlin and East and West Germany. They had to stop people from trying to escape because communism sucks. This is not hard. There's going to be instant fact-checking of this in the future. Do you see a pattern? Now, let me tie it to the beginning of the show because nothing I do is by accident. You see how in the beginning of the show, I played that clip where the Democrats are all saying the same thing. If you just tuned in, you can rewind. And they're all saying it the same way. Little microphone, sit down. Yeah, right here. You can see it yourself. The Democrats are a current thing party. They don't think independently. The wealth tax, you're seeing this right now. There are, whether it's Elizabeth Warren, whether it's Bernie Sanders, Robert Reich, I don't care how you pronounce it. People always tell me, I don't care. I don't give a damn. It's not an accident. They are committed to crashing the economy through basically a theft tax from successful people. Here's the Reich, whatever the hell his name is, video. There's a snippet of it where he talks about a millionaire, billionaire, basically billionaire. I say millionaire, billionaire because it's only a matter of time before it's millionaires, and then it's you, and then it's everyone who makes 100,000, and then it's down to people who make 10,000. This is just the way it works with them, the Democrats. It's what happened with the graduated income tax too. Here's Reich pretending that there's no evidence what he's saying is absolute bullshit. I'll actually give you the data. You don't need AI. I have to show you everything he says here is just crap. Check this out.
Billionaires are up in arms about California's proposed wealth tax. Now here's the truth and why you should support it. The proposed tax is a one-time 5% tax on people who had a net worth of at least $1 billion on January 1st, 2026. California's roughly 200 billionaires would be able to pay their share over a 5-year period. The revenue from the tax, which is expected to hit $100 billion, would go toward covering the devastating funding cuts for California's Medicaid system caused by Trump's big ugly bill. Now remember, that same tax bill doled out far more in tax cuts for the richest Americans, including the California billionaires now crying foul. Now, a few California billionaires will make headlines by leaving the state in a huff or by threatening to move assets. But if they lived in the state on January 1st, they'll be on the hook for the tax anyway.
Notice how he throws that in at the end that, did you guys catch this? A few billionaires will leave. How many billionaires do you think there are, guys? A few? You get the joke? It's not a joke. You mean the few billionaires you had are going to leave so you can't tax them. Notice this is why I'm talking about how AI is going to be so good for segments like this. Rice says the Trump tax cuts, too, were primarily for the rich. Okay, we can look that up, and we did. We'll get to that in a second. And he also says, oh my gosh, we're going to need more money for the California Medicaid fund. You mean the Medicaid fund that was just exposed for potentially up to $50 billion in fraud? It needs more money for more fraud? I've got an idea, Rob. Rob A. Maybe clean up the fraud first. What was that thing we had, article we had? Oh, there we go. Perfect. Right back to the beginning of the show. Kash Patel, Michigan man, pleads guilty to defrauding Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance for nearly $2 million. I've got a better idea. Rather than taxing billionaires at your state, how about you stop giving this guy $2 million? Innocent till proven guilty. However, how about you just don't give the fraudsters millions of dollars? Just an idea, bro. Instant fact check coming up right now, by the way. Here's an instant fact check for you. So the Trump tax cuts primarily benefited the rich. You know you can look that up, right? I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. You can look this up, the Trump tax cuts. You probably heard this from your liberal friends over and over again, correct? They benefited the rich. You can look it up. The numbers are right there. For those who don't know, liberals watching, I'll actually give them to you. Quick break. Some say crime is rising and that response times are slower, leaving many asking the same question. How do I help protect my family without taking a life? Let me tell you about Byrna, B-Y-R-N-A. I have 2 of these. I have a Byrna they sent me. Let me tell you, I trust it. Byrna's less than lethal launcher fires powerful kinetic and chemical rounds that can incapacitate an attacker for up to 30 minutes. That could give you time to get away, to call for help. Really important. Byrna's new compact launcher is about the size of a smartphone. It's easy to carry. It's easy to use. Justin has one too. And there's no background check required. The Byrna CL fires at up to 400 feet per second with serious stopping power and was designed to help with de-escalation, not devastation. Byrna's proudly American, assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. More than 750,000 Byrna launchers are already in the hands of law enforcement and responsible citizens who want protection without tragedy. You're going to love it. Check it out. If you believe in being prepared and you also believe in restraint, Byrna, B-Y-R-N-A, is for you. Go to Byrna.com and learn more. That's Byrna.com, Byrna.com. Check it out. I have a couple. Justin's got one too. He loves his Byrna launcher. As I said, Robert Reich just said the Trump tax cuts that he just re-upped in his second term, 47, that they primarily benefited the rich. Well, you could just look that up. Took me all of about 25 to 30 seconds to do this. How did the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act change personal taxes? This is the Trump tax cuts. So we pulled up this handy dandy chart. So if Robert Reich is telling you the truth, then you would think the largest tax cuts would have went to the rich, correct? Well, we can look that up. Here are the brackets. The 10% tax rate, these are the lowest income Americans, didn't change. That's at 10%. When you move up a little bit, the lower end of the middle class, if you were paying 15% before Trump's tax cuts, now you're paying 12. You got a 3 percentage point cut, Justin. My math is right? 15 to 12, 1, 2, 3. He gets the fingers out, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the abacus, right? If you were middle class paying 25% before Trump's tax cuts, you're now paying 22. That's another 3% cut. That's crazy. That's middle class. Now you get into kind of like the upper middle class a little bit. You were paying 28%. You're now paying 24. Justin, that's 4 percentage point cut, correct? 1, 2, 3. Yes, right. Now, if you're getting into the lower end of the upper income, these are wealthy people. You were paying 33%. Now you're paying 32. So you only got a 1%. 1 is less than 4, right? Is it? Jasmine, can you check that? She's got the calculator on the phone. Yes, that's correct. Now, if you're getting into the higher income category and you were paying 35%, oh, look at this. You're still paying 35%. You got nothing. That's 0, which is less than 4, right? I'm just checking. Now, the richest Americans were at 39.6. They got a tax cut to 37%. So you're talking about 2.6, which, by the way, is still less than 4, right? See, guys, you can just look this up. This is what I'm talking about moving forward. How the price of political bullshit with this AI generation we live in right now, not tomorrow, is going to get extremely expensive. Now, you may also say to yourself, well, a wealth tax. Screw those rich people. We should take their money. You don't like them? You're allowed not to like them. I don't care if you like them or not. You don't? No, I don't. All I care about is, does a wealth tax do what you say it's going to do? Lead to a higher quality of life for all of Americans. Desert X Rider in the chat says the math checks out. Thank you. Thank you. Sound like Spock from Star Trek, and I'm not even a Star Trek. Your logic is sound. You can also look up the natural experiment where a wealth tax has been tried before. Like the state of Maryland I used to live in. They tried one of these. They did. You want to know what happened? Robert Reich doesn't care about what happened, but I'll tell you what happened. Here's an article in the Wall Street Journal when Maryland tried this back in 2010. The state's comptroller's office, the controller's office, now has the final tax return date for 2008, the first year the higher tax rates applied. The number of millionaire tax returns fell sharply from 5,529 from 7,898. Guys, again, can you check that math out in the chat? I think that's less. They had less. How's that? Less millionaires. A 30% tumble. The taxes paid by rich filers after their millionaire's tax fell. Does that say fell, Justin, by 22%? And instead of the tax payments increasing by 106 million, like the Robert Reich folks predicted, they fell by 257 million. Wow. That's a lot. So you thought you were going to get 106 million more dollars from Maryland millionaires when you instituted your millionaire tax, and you actually lost 257 million? That's called like a natural experiment. It's been tried. I don't care what you think about it. That's rude. No, I'm being honest. I'm not trying to be an ass about it. All I care about is, does it actually work? Does it even do what you said? And I'm not even telling you them raising more taxes in Maryland, if it had happened, it didn't, is working. But even by your metric, it fails. And I love when Rice says in the video too, oh, we're going to let him pay over a 5-year timeline. Does this guy understand how stock futures work? So you're telling me you've got John Smith, who is worth $100 billion in Silicon Valley, who owns 20% of a company. If he has to sell non-liquid assets over the course of 5 years, you don't think futures markets are going to factor that into the 5-year price of the stock? Is this guy an idiot? The answer is no, he's not. He thinks you are. Folks, you can look this stuff up. It's all been tried. all of these stupid liberal ideas that AI is going to fact check in live time going forward, they've all been tried. There is nothing new under the sun for dumb liberals and progressives and their stupid policies. Here's another one, rent control. Sounds great in theory. We got to control the rents. Price controls don't work. I don't care who does them, period. They don't work. They lead to increased demand for a product, decreased supply, black markets, and quality problems every single time. So they've been doing rent control in New York for years. My grandmother, God rest her soul, was in a rent-controlled apartment. That's just the truth because it's a New York policy. We lost her years ago, but median rent in Manhattan's hit $5,000 a month for the first time ever. Unusual whales on X. I thought they were controlling the rent. You can't control a price in a free market, folks. The free market dictates the price. If you tell everyone we're going to price control Corvettes and make them $30,000, there's going to be a rush to the dealership to buy a $100,000 Corvette for $30,000. Increased demand. There's going to be decreased supply. Why? Because they're not going to make any more Corvettes. They're not going to lose $70,000 per car to make you a car because there's price controls. You get quality problems because then if you're forced to do it by law, you're going to create a shitty Corvette. And then you get black markets because people know the Corvette, they're going to buy it for $30 and sell it for $100 on the black market. It only happens every single time it's been tried. What about Mayor Mamdani, the communist? What about his promise about free buses? Ladies and gentlemen, what's free in an economy? Anywhere. A communist Soviet economy, a thugocracy, a capitalist economy, what's free? Nothing. Nothing is free. Nothing. There is no free lunch anywhere. Value has to be stolen from someone or voluntarily given over via the price mechanism. There's nothing free. Mamdani promised free buses in New York. Yeah, it's got to second guess that now. Dude's only been in office a couple of months. Why? Because he's asking himself, well, okay, it's not really free, but we have to pay for it. How are we going to pay for it? And they don't have the money. Mamdani backs down on cornerstone campaign promise of free New York City buses. Gee, why would he do that? Because there is no such thing as free buses. Someone's paying for them. Whether it's taxpayers, whether it's stolen wealth, somebody is paying for it. Now, whenever these liberals fail, they pull this same BS trick you see over and over again. I want you to, this is the hidden knowledge grift. You think it's only on Podcastistan and it's only on the Doomers? It is not. The hidden knowledge grift that I have a data point, I just can't tell you what it is. I know something, but I can't share it. You see it all the time. This is a thing on the left too. It's not just a thing you see in, this increasingly ridiculous influencer space. Politicians do this all the time. Mamdani's starting to realize right now that he lives in a city dominated for decades by liberal communist type policies, okay? Big government, top-down policies. New York is run monopolistically by Democrats for decades now, ever since Giuliani left. It's weird that rents are out of control. They can't do the free buses. He's now saying, man, there's this unbelievable racial disparity too in wealth. Minority families don't make much as white families. How is that? How is that, guys? How is that? This is a city run by Democrats. Notice what he does here. Watch the hidden knowledge grift, where he blames it on the system and systemic discrimination, but conveniently leaves out that the city and the system have been run exclusively by liberals for decades. And suckers fall for this. Check this out.
The inequities in this city, the racial inequities, are stark. We are talking about findings that have shown that the wealth of a median white household in this city is more than $200,000, while that of a black household is less than $20,000. This is not an indictment of any one New Yorker. It is an indictment, however, of policies and politics that have persisted for far too long. Our commitment now is to act upon these findings, to do so in concert with New Yorkers' comments, as we've now opened a public comment period for the next 30 days to ensure that we have a city where we are reckoning with the long history of racism here and starting to act upon a framework that puts equity right at the center of it. Thank you.
Sure.
But why remove the DEI language?
We put forward a stronger report that actually reflects the realities New Yorkers are living through.
This is unbelievable. I'm talking to liberals for a minute. I know this show is targeted at the MAGA crowd and conservatives. I get it. However, we do have liberals here. They go crazy in the chat. I'm dead serious. Go listen to that clip again, rewind it, where he talks about basically decade-long bad politics in New York. The politics are his politics. It's a liberal city run by liberals. The only possible sensible analogy I can think of right now is imagine you're a coach for whatever, the San Francisco 49ers. You've been the coach for 10 years. The team is not at a winning season in 10 years, and you indict the head coaching. It's you. You're the coach. Why are you laughing, Chad? It's true. Man, the coach is shit. This guy's the worst play caller ever. It's you. It reminds me of a story that used to go around when I was on the president's detail when Dick Cheney was the vice president. I don't know if this is true or not, but when they were on the campaign trail, one of the VP guys, the vice president's protective detail guys, told me when Cheney used to tell the story a lot that when he was a congressman, he used to go knock on doors and, relatively rural area. And once in a while, he'd knock on a door and people didn't know he was the sitting congressman. He'd say, "Hey, I'm Dick Cheney, whatever, running for Congress. And, I really like your vote." And a guy'd be like, "Great, because that guy we got now is terrible." It was him. He would tell this as a joke, by the way. I used to hear the VP guys talk about it all the time. He's the guy. Mamdani, this is your religion. Communism, progressivism, liberalism, socialism, democratic, so it's all one label, euphemisms for the same bullshit. Top-down government-run economy. It's your stuff. They do this all the time. Once you see the hidden knowledge grift, it's at that point. I've got this information, but I can't tell you. I know something about Butler. I know something about, but they never tell you what it is.
But that could have been a woman.
He's telling us what it is. It is the mark of an imbecile. They are playing you for a fool. You ever hear that joke? How do you keep an idiot in suspense? Some of you get that. There's a joke growing up. That's what they're doing. That's what Mamdani's doing. The politics have been really bad here. That's why there's so much discrimination in the city. What politics? Politics. You mean like Democrats? No. But you guys run the city. No, systemic discrimination. What system? The system. You mean the legislature? The system. It's freaking exhausting. AI, I'm telling you, is going to shut a lot of this down. This is Justin's favorite story of the day. I'm going to leave you with some really good news. Possibly, I would argue, the most hated technology since the elevator buzzer. You know the elevator buzzer? When I was in the job in D.C., I lived on the 8th floor of this building. So the FBI security detail used to hold the elevator. So sometimes my knee be bad. I'd be a little slow getting to the elevator. And you know the sound? It's like the most annoying sound of the world, like Dumb and Dumber. What's the most annoying sound in the world? This one. That's the worst technology ever. The second worst is the automatic on-off feature in the car. Folks, in the chat, if you like this, let yourself be heard. If Bongino there, take a poll. Who hates this thing? I hate this thing. There is not a more hated technology anywhere on planet Earth. It is the most useless, non-gas saving, engine-wearing bullshit feature ever. Thank God in my car there's a shutoff for this stupidity. Wall Street Journal notes, drivers celebrate the demise of the most hated feature in their car. The Trump White House goes all in on undermining automatic engine stoppers that help lower emissions and raise Americans' aggravation. I don't even think they help lower emissions. Everybody hates this thing. Look at the chat. Faith8904, yes, it sucks. J.K. Worth, despise it. Nana Tracy 137, I hate it. Everybody hates it. This is like a nuclear chat level of involvement for this stage of the show. Thank you, President Trump. This is another thing they probably tell you, the doomers, nothing is happening. This may be the biggest way to stop. I think even the doomers trying to claim President Trump should be psyched out of office on the 25th Amendment. I think even those psychos will agree this is probably one of the best things he's done. What a ridiculous. And low-flow faucets are up there too. What is the point of the low-flow faucet? I've actually tweeted about this when I've been bored a few times. I was in the Dallas airport. into low-flow faucet. You just have to sit there for like 10 minutes to wash your freaking hands. You probably wind up using 3-4 times as much as water. Whoever invented that, I'm really sorry. It's got to be whoever invented the low-flow faucet. We can't be friends. Oh, it's the worst. I know. I hate it. Is Haley coming up at noon? She doing it. Yeah, Haley filled in for Vince this morning too. So Haley knocking it out of the park today. Haley Carania coming up at noon, rumble.com/Haley. You can check out Vince every day. Vince Colinace. He's also a guest on our show bi-weekly at rumble.com/Vince, 8 a.m. for the live on demand anytime. Please download the Rumble app. We would love to see you here every day at 10 a.m. I love the live content. I love being with you. I love interacting with you in the chat. Download the Rumble app. It's free. Give us a follow or go to rumble.com/Bongino. Click that follow button. It is absolutely free. Become part of the Bongino Army. Join us every day at 10 a.m. I will see you back here tomorrow.
I'm Haley Carania,
host of Vince,
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report.
Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, weekday mornings.
Weekdays at noon. If you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
right here
and anywhere you find podcasts. Thanks for watching.